If your hands or feet feel like they are being pierced by hundreds of invisible hot needles, or if you have reached a point where the simple pressure of a bedsheet against your toes at night has become genuinely unbearable, I need you to stop everything and give me the next few minutes of your complete attention. What you are experiencing is not a normal consequence of aging. It is not something you are imagining. And it is absolutely not a condition you must simply accept and endure for the rest of your life. What is happening inside your body right now is a biological emergency. Your peripheral nerves, the vast network of electrical wiring that connects your brain and spinal cord to every sensation in your hands and feet, are being systematically starved of the specific fuel they require to survive. And that starvation is not accidental. In many cases, it is being caused or dramatically worsened by the very medications your doctor prescribed to keep you healthy. I am Dr. Charles Anderson. In my years working with seniors, I have watched patients who had resigned themselves to a future of numbness. Patients who could no longer feel the brake pedal in their car, who could not button their own shirts, who lived in constant fear of falling on uneven ground, managed to halt and in some cases meaningfully reverse that decline. They did not accomplish it with stronger painkillers. They did it by addressing the specific metabolic failure that was causing their nerves to deteriorate in the first place. Today, I am going to walk you through a comprehensive explanation of why your nerves are failing, the exact nutrient your nervous system is starving for, the common medications that are accelerating the damage, and a structured daily protocol designed to give your body the raw materials it needs to begin repairing itself. This is not a quick tip video. This is a complete framework. Please stay with me through all of it. Let me start by helping you understand the physical reality of what is breaking down inside your body right now. The condition we are discussing is called peripheral neuropathy. Peripheral refers to the outer edges of your nervous system, your hands, your feet, your fingers, your toes. Neuropathy means nerve suffering. That is literally what the word means. Your outer nerves are suffering. I want you to think about the electrical wiring inside the walls of your home. From the main breaker panel, cables run through the framework of the house to every light switch, every outlet, every appliance. If you were to slice one of those cables open, you would find a copper conductor in the center that carries the actual electrical current, and wrapped around it, a thick layer of plastic insulation whose sole purpose is to ensure that current travels smoothly from point A to point B without leaking, sparking, or causing a fire. Your nervous system is constructed on the exact same engineering principles. Your brain and spinal cord are the main breaker panel. From there, millions of microscopic biological wires extend all the way down your legs to the tips of your toes and down your arms, to the pads of your fingertips. The copper conductor is the nerve fiber itself. The plastic insulation is a biological coating called the myelin sheath. When you were in your 30s, that myelin sheath was thick, robust, and completely intact. Electrical signals from your brain reached your feet in a fraction of a millisecond. If you stepped on something sharp, your brain registered the danger instantly and you adjusted your weight before you had time to consciously think about it. Your balance was seamless because the electrical connection was flawless. But right now, inside your hands and feet, that protective biological insulation is physically eroding. It is wearing thin, it is fraying. And what happens when insulation wears off a live electrical wire? The current leaks, it sparks, it short circuits. That biological sparking is not a metaphor, it is the precise mechanism behind the burning pain in your feet at 2 in the morning. It is the random tingling that comes and goes without explanation. It is the pins and needles that make you shake your hand out even though nothing touched it. Your nerve signals are leaking into surrounding tissue because the insulation has degraded, and your brain is receiving a chaotic storm of error messages from exposed wires. And what happens if damaged wiring is ignored for long enough? Eventually the wire snaps. The connection is severed. The signal goes dark. That is the numbness, that terrifying dead silence when you press your foot against the floor and feel absolutely nothing. Your brain is sending commands to your foot, move, balance, feel the ground, and your foot is answering with total darkness because the wire has broken. When patients understand this mechanical reality, the next question is always the same. Dr. Anderson, I eat well. I take a multivitamin. Why is my nerve insulation breaking down? This brings us to what I consider one of the most important and most overlooked truths in senior healthcare. Rebuilding, maintaining, and repairing that myelin sheath requires one specific, non-negotiable raw material above all others: vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. Thiamine is the foundation material for your nervous system. Without it, your body physically cannot repair damaged nerve insulation. It does not matter how much sleep you get, how much water you drink, or how many pain-blocking medications you take. Without adequate B1 reaching your nerve cells, the repair process cannot begin. But here is where the situation becomes genuinely frustrating. You may already be consuming foods that contain B1. You may even be taking a supplement that listed on the label, and your nerves may still be starving. The reason comes down to two massive roadblocks that are preventing the nutrient from reaching the tissue that needs it most. The first roadblock is your own aging digestive system. After 60, your stomach produces significantly less hydrochloric acid than it did in your younger years. You need strong stomach acid to break apart the complex structure of food and extract the vitamins locked inside. When you were 30, your digestion was a furnace that could extract nearly all the B1 from a meal. Today, with weaker acid production, your body may only capture 10 or 15% of the B1 in the same food. The nutrient passes through your digestive tract and exits your body without ever being absorbed. You are doing everything right on the intake side. Your extraction machinery is simply not keeping up. The second roadblock is far more troubling because it is sitting on your bathroom counter right now. It is your daily medication routine. If you take a diuretic for blood pressure, commonly called a water pill, the entire purpose of that medication is to force your kidneys to excrete excess fluid and sodium, which brings your blood pressure down. But B1 is a water-soluble vitamin. It lives and travels in the fluid portion of your blood. Every time that diuretic forces your kidneys to flush fluid, it takes your nerve-protecting B1 right along with it. Every single morning when you swallow that pill to protect your cardiovascular system, you are initiating a process that drains the very nutrient your nerves need most. If you take metformin for blood sugar management, that medication actively alters the microbial environment in your gut, significantly impairing the absorption of B vitamins. If you take over-the-counter antacids for heartburn or acid reflux, you are neutralizing whatever stomach acid you have left, further shutting down the nutrient extraction process. I want to be absolutely clear about this. I am not telling you to stop taking these medications. They are keeping vital systems in your body functioning. What I am telling you is that you must actively and aggressively replace the specific nutrients those medications are washing away. You are filling a bucket that has holes in the bottom? You need to pour faster than it leaks. And this is where most people make a critical mistake that costs them months or years of continued suffering. They realize they need more B1. They drive to the pharmacy. They buy a bottle labeled vitamin B1. They take it every morning, and 4 weeks later, their feet are still burning. The reason it failed is not that their body is beyond repair. It is that they purchased the wrong form of the vitamin. If you look at the back of most B1 supplements, you will see the words thiamine hydrochloride or thiamine mononitrate. These are water-soluble forms. They dissolve in water. And here's the fundamental problem. Your nerve cells, your myelin sheath, your entire nervous system is constructed from dense layers of fat. The most basic principle of chemistry that everyone learns as a child is that oil and water do not mix. They repel each other. When you swallow a water-soluble B1 pill, it enters your watery bloodstream. But the moment it arrives at the nerve cell and attempts to enter through the fatty myelin membrane, it hits a wall. It cannot penetrate. A tiny fraction might accidentally squeeze through, but the vast majority circulates uselessly until your kidneys filter it out and you flush it away. Taking standard B1 for nerve damage is like trying to wash heavy grease off your hands with ice-cold water. The water beads up and slides right off. It accomplishes nothing. What you need is a form of B1 that speaks the same biological language as your nerves. A form that dissolves in fat. That form is called benfotiamine. Benfotiamine passes directly through the fatty membranes of your nerve cells, the way oil soaks into dry leather. It does not bounce off. It does not get blocked. It penetrates deep into the core of the starving nerve fiber, clears away toxic metabolic waste that has been choking the cell, and provides the raw material needed to begin patching the damaged insulation. Research has demonstrated that benfotiamine increases the concentration of active thiamine inside nerve tissue by several 100% compared to standard supplements. The difference between standard B1 and benfotiamine is the difference between splashing a cup of water at a house fire and connecting a high-pressure fire hose. But knowing the name benfotiamine is only the first step. If you take it incorrectly, you will still fail to see results. And the details of proper use are what separate the people who recover from those who remain trapped in their symptoms. First, dosage matters. A small maintenance dose will not overcome years of accumulated nerve damage. Clinical protocols typically begin at 150 milligrams daily, increasing to 300 milligrams for severe symptoms, including active balance loss or sleep-disrupting burning pain. Second, you must take it with a meal that contains fat. Because benfotiamine is fat-soluble, it absolutely requires the physical presence of dietary fat in your stomach to be broken down, transported, and absorbed into your bloodstream. If you swallow it with a glass of water and a plain piece of toast, your body will not absorb it properly. Cook your morning eggs in real butter. Add a spoonful of peanut butter. Eat half an avocado. That dietary fat acts as a biological transport vehicle, grabbing the benfotiamine molecule and delivering it directly into your nervous system. Third, take it in the morning. B vitamins are cellular energy activators. Taking them in the evening can interfere with your ability to fall asleep. Morning consumption with a fat-containing breakfast is the optimal timing. But benfotiamine alone is not the complete solution. You also need supporting nutrients that address different aspects of nerve repair simultaneously. Alpha-lipoic acid is essential for reducing the oxidative stress that is actively destroying your nerve cells. Unlike most antioxidants that operate only in water or only in fat environments, alpha-lipoic acid works in both, allowing it to reach every compartment of your nerve tissue. Look specifically for the stabilized R-lipoic acid form. The synthetic S form found in cheaper products is poorly absorbed and can actually interfere with the natural form's activity. Methylcobalamin, the active form of vitamin B12, is the construction material your body uses to physically rebuild myelin. Without adequate B12, your nerves cannot regenerate their protective insulation, regardless of how much benfotiamine you provide. Avoid cyanocobalamin, the synthetic form found in inexpensive supplements. Choose methylcobalamin, which your nervous system can utilize immediately. Acetyl-L-carnitine supports the mitochondria inside your nerve cells, the tiny power plants that generate the enormous energy required for accurate signal transmission. When mitochondrial function declines, nerve signaling becomes unreliable. Clinical research has shown that acetyl-L-carnitine supplementation can reduce neuropathic pain and support nerve fiber regeneration. Magnesium glycinate taken in the evening dampens the overactive pain signaling that makes nighttime symptoms so unbearable. It also supports the enzymatic reactions that B vitamins depend on to function. B1 and magnesium are biochemical partners. They work substantially better together than either one works alone. And there is one critical warning I must share about vitamin B6. Many people hear that B vitamins support nerves and begin taking a B-complex supplement that contains high doses of B6. This can be catastrophic. Vitamin B6 is unique among nutrients in that both deficiency and excess cause nerve damage. High doses of the synthetic form, pyridoxine hydrochloride, can accumulate in tissues and directly destroy nerve endings, worsening the very condition you are trying to treat. If your supplement contains B6, ensure it uses the active form called P5P, pyridoxal 5-phosphate, at a modest dose of 25 milligrams or less. More is not better. Precision is better. Let me tell you about a patient I will call Edward. Edward was 73, a retired carpenter whose entire identity was built around working with his hands. Over the previous 2 years, he had developed such severe numbness in his fingers that he could no longer hold a chisel steadily or feel the grain of wood beneath his fingertips. He was devastated. His doctor had told him it was arthritis and aging, prescribed a pain medication that made him feel foggy and detached, and essentially told him this was his new reality. When Edward came to me, his hands were his primary concern, but his feet were also affected. He described a constant sensation of walking on crumpled fabric, even when barefoot on a smooth floor. His balance had declined noticeably. He had fallen twice in the previous year, once badly enough to bruise his ribs. We reviewed his medications. He was on a diuretic for blood pressure and metformin for mildly elevated blood sugar. Both were actively depleting his B vitamins. His B12 was technically within normal range but sat at the very bottom. His magnesium was low. His diet, while generally reasonable, contained very little in the way of healthy fats. We started the Benfotiamine protocol at 300 milligrams daily with a fat-rich breakfast. We added stabilized R-alpha lipoic acid, Methylcobalamin, acetyl-L-carnitine, and evening magnesium glycinate. We adjusted his breakfast to always include eggs cooked in butter or olive oil. For the first 4 weeks, Edward noticed nothing in his hands or feet. He was ready to quit. But he did report that a persistent mental fogginess he had lived with for years had unexpectedly lifted. He felt clearer, sharper, more present. I told him that was the benfotiamine reaching his brain cells and reactivating cellular energy production. The nerve repair in his extremities would follow, but it would take longer because his hands and feet are the furthest points from the supply center. In week 5, Edward called me. His voice was different, lighter, almost excited. He said, "Dr. Anderson, I was sanding a piece of oak this morning and I felt the texture. It was faint, like hearing a whisper from across a room, but I felt it. For 2 years, I have felt nothing in those fingers. This morning, I felt the wood. By month 3, his grip strength had improved enough that he was back in his workshop for short sessions. The burning in his feet that had kept him awake at night had faded from a roar to a low hum. By month 6, he told me that most nights he forgot his feet had ever been a problem. He was sleeping 6 hours straight. He had not fallen in 4 months. Edward's recovery was not a miracle. It was biochemistry. It was the predictable result of finally providing his starving nerves with the specific fuel they had been begging for, while simultaneously removing the obstacles that had been blocking delivery. I need to be transparent about the timeline so you do not get discouraged and quit before the results arrive. The first 1 to 2 weeks are the saturation phase. Nutrient levels in your tissues are rising, but you may not feel dramatic changes yet. Some people notice improved mental clarity and energy as the brain cells respond first. Weeks 3 through 6 are the activation phase. Damaged nerves begin reconnecting. You may experience temporary increases in tingling or unusual sensations. This can feel alarming, but it is frequently a sign that dormant nerves are waking up. Think of the sensation when a foot that has fallen asleep begins regaining circulation. The pins and needles are uncomfortable, but they represent life returning to tissue that was silent. Months 3 through 6 are the regeneration phase. This is where the real transformation occurs. Pain fades, sensation returns, balance improves. The world begins to feel solid under your feet again. There are important contraindications to be aware of. If you are undergoing chemotherapy, consult your oncologist before taking alpha lipoic acid or high-dose B vitamins, as antioxidants can sometimes interact with certain chemotherapy agents. If you have thyroid conditions, use caution with L-carnitine. And if you have chronic kidney disease, any supplement changes must be approved by your nephrologist. Your nerves are not asking for another pain pill that disconnects your brain from the distress signal. They are asking for zinc, B1 in the form of benfotiamine, B12 as methylcobalamin, alpha lipoic acid, acetyl-L-carnitine, magnesium, and the dietary fats needed to deliver all of it. You now have the complete blueprint. The numbness in your hands and feet is not a death sentence for your independence. It is a signal, and signals, by definition, are asking for a response. Respond with the right nutrients in the right forms at the right time, and your body has a remarkable capacity to begin repairing what has been damaged. Start tomorrow morning. Eggs and butter, benfotiamine with the meal, the protocol I outlined above. Commit to it for 90 days. I want to leave you with one final thought that I think matters more than any individual nutrient on this list. The medical system as it currently operates is designed to manage symptoms. You report burning feet, and you receive a prescription that chemically disconnects your brain's ability to register the pain signal. The burning does not stop. You simply stop being aware of it. Meanwhile, the underlying nerve destruction continues unchecked beneath the chemical blanket. And when the medication wears off or when the damage progresses beyond what the drug can mask, you are worse off than when you started. What I have outlined today is fundamentally different. It is not symptom management, it is root cause intervention. You are not numbing the alarm. You are fixing the wiring that is triggering it. And that distinction is the difference between spending the rest of your life adapting to progressive disability and actually reclaiming the sensation, the balance, and the independence that this condition has been stealing from you. You deserve more than a 15-minute appointment that ends with a prescription and a shrug. You deserve a complete explanation of what is happening inside your body and a concrete plan to address it. That is what I have tried to give you today. And when you feel the texture of something beneath your fingertips for the first time in months, or when you step onto your bathroom floor and actually feel the tile, come back to this channel and share that moment. Someone else needs to hear that recovery is possible. I am Dr. Charles Anderson. Your pain is real. Your nerves can heal. Subscribe to this channel for more in-depth health guidance for adults over 60, and I will see you in the next video. Take back your independence. Begin tomorrow morning.